Everybody, George Moorhead with Bentley Properties, and just wanted to invite you to our Facebook Live. Today we're going to be discussing the Bellevue real estate market, how it's affecting us, kind of demystifying some of the unknown media comments and whatnot, and really where are we at today. So if you would hit the wow face, just let me know that you are hearing and seeing what's going on. And if you have any questions, definitely put them in the chat box, both when we're doing this live recording, and if you have questions afterwards, just fire them off where there's no strings attached. We just go ahead and provide you as much information that will help you and your family, at least as much as we can. So with that, my name is George Moorhead. For those of you that do not know, I have been practicing real estate for roughly about 26 years. You may have seen me on Fox News, probably in the Puget Sound Business Journal, Seattle Times, even the Everett Herald newspaper. We do get quoted quite a bit, and including in the press releases from the Northwest Multiple Listing Service. With that, there's a couple of things. One, at any time or afterwards, if you want a copy of the Northwest MLS press release, just let us know. We do a highlighted version. Makes it a little bit easier. And for those of you, whether you're new or experienced, we do have a buyer's handbook. It's relatively comprehensive. It is designed to help you walk through the process. It helps you to understand what to expect. And then, of course, next week during our live video, we'll be going through how to pass an inspection. 10 different inspection pitfalls to avoid as a buyer, things to kind of keep in mind. So with that, if you can, again, hit the wow button. Let us know that you can hear us, and feel free to type in any questions. There's no strings attached. We're here to help in any way we can. So let's talk about the current market. So a healthy market has 4 to 6 months of inventory, okay? And right now we're at about 2.1 months of market time of inventory in the market. So what that means is, if we have a bucket, right, and all of the real estate agents put their information into this bucket, right, we put a lid on it. A healthy market says that we should have 4 to 6 months of homes in inventory to sell. All right, that's a healthy market. Now, right now, we're at about 2.1, and depending on which area, and actually in some of the east side areas, we're down as low as 1.2 months of inventory. And so when we hear that, our market is waning, well, yes and no, right? Interest rates have had a huge impact on that. What we call buyer fatigue has had a huge impact on that, with multiple offers, being pushed out farther and farther from where you really want to be as far as a core demographic. Those all came into play, and with kind of that unknown what's going to continue to happen, right? Especially with the European market and whatnot, which did have a significant impact on us. So with that, employment is still doing well. Inventory is still quite low, all right? Multiple offers are really not, that common, although they're a little bit on the rise. And again, because our spring market is becoming so aggressive right now, because inventory is up, the buyer demand has been low, interest rates have been coming down. It's kind of that perfect storm until we hit about mid-May. And that's something to keep in mind for sellers. Mid-May is when people start preparing for summer vacations, kids start getting out of school, and that is going to hold off until about July 4th. After the July 4th weekend, we tend to pick back up again. So what you should be looking at least right now, is taking a look at what homes are available in the neighborhoods that you didn't have access to before, whether because of activity from other buyers, pricing, which has been a little aggressive. And as we continue down, looking at those homes, then start to branch out a little bit more. Don't start back here where you were before. Move forward and find out what is available. Off-market homes, absolutely huge opportunity there. We actually offer a number of different off-market homes. These are sellers that said yes to selling, but I don't want to be listed. I don't want a bunch of people coming through my house. But yes, if you brought me an offer, we would sell. And we have a ton of different sellers that are saying yes to that off-market sale opportunity, which is huge. Okay, so it gives you the opportunity to take a look at homes without any other competition. Now, when we also take a look at what to expect for the remainder of the year, the Feds have said that they're not going to increase rates, at least for Q1 and Q2, first quarter and second quarter, okay? Which also means that third quarter and fourth quarter are going to stay relatively flat. But what's really important about that is that the Fed's actually started buying mortgage-backed securities in a greater amount, which helps to bring down the cost of mortgages. So if you haven't been pre-approved, absolutely you must get pre-approved. And if you can, ask the lender that you're working with to get you underwritten, conditioned on a satisfactory appraisal and a satisfactory inspection. What that does is it takes all of the questions out for you, and it will make it a huge, huge benefit for you as you are looking at purchasing a home. Or if it's one of your friends or a coworker and you happen to be watching this, definitely tag their name in the chat box for them to go ahead and watch this, whether now or on a rebroadcast, right? So if we're going through and we're taking a look at homes in different areas, right? Take a look at what those trends are. And if you're looking for a neighborhood trend, just let us know, because we monitor those. We're always looking forward, roughly about 6-8 months at a minimum in the future to give folks like yourself just a really good idea of what to expect so that you can make the best business decision for you and your family, all right? Today, par pricing hit just a little bit below 4% with some of the mortgage rates, all right? And some of the questions that have been asked to us in the past are, hey, online, I'm seeing some of these mortgage rates at like 3.5%. The one thing to keep in mind is to make sure that you're looking at it, is there a prepay to get that mortgage interest rate? As an example, one of our clients said, oh my gosh, I found this rate. It's 3.5%. And I said, wow, let me go take a look at that. And so he sent me the link. And I smiled and I said, hey, I want you to take a look at their spreadsheet, and the pricing that Dan Golden gave you at HomeStreet, which was 4% pricing today. He's like, yeah, I see that. Okay, you see the number off to the right there? He's like, yeah. I said, that's a 0. I said, yeah, okay, so that's the cost for par pricing. Now, if you go down to that 3.5% that they're advertising, and then you go off to the right, I said, what's that amount? He's like, oh my gosh, this is like $12,000, $18,000. And I said, yes, that's how much it costs to buy down that rate. So when you're taking a look and shopping mortgages, make sure that you're looking at par pricing and that the teaser rate that they're offering you isn't a buy down type of rate, okay? And that's going to be really important in your buying process also. So as you're again considering that purchase, right? So we've got area that you've taken into mind. We've got mortgage interest rates that you're taking into mind. Also make sure that when you're looking at home size, location, floor plan, you're taking a look at what amenities or upgrades need to be done, or are there additional upgrades that need to be done? And if so, what is that cost? What is that turnaround time going to be? Does it make sense to do a rehab type loan to go ahead and get what I really want if the home isn't updated? Okay, these are things to keep in mind. If you're looking at new construction right now is absolutely spot on for pricing. Builders and whatnot are seeing a reduction in sales, although they've been starting to pick up again, like what we mentioned earlier. However, incentives are ranging anywhere from $15,000, and I have seen them as high as $60,000 for upgrades as far as appliances, millwork, taking a look and adding, fencing or finish, doing upgrades in the backyard. They're also doing what we call a rate buy down. Remember, we were talking about, hey, to go from 4% to 3.5%, there's a cost that goes to that, okay? And with that, you want to make sure, hey, is that an option, especially if you're going to be in that home for more than 7 to 10 years. If you're not, a rate buy down doesn't make a ton of sense. You're just kind of wasting dollars, right? So there are other areas that you can put that in, but understand, a lot of people come to me and they say, George, I want to buy this new construction house. I do not want to pay that price. I don't want this credit. I like the, I like the house the way it is. I want a better price. No, okay. So understand that a builder, unlike a standalone single family residence typical seller, has a different perception of what needs to happen, because if they start dropping the price of a house in a plat, it immediately impacts the rest of the homes in that plat, okay? So the base price is going to be incredibly important to the builder, okay? Because once it's sold and closed, that's what's published, is that base price, okay? So they will offer incentives, rate buy down, appliances, landscape upgrades, fence upgrades, things like this, so that media rooms, so that they can go ahead and maintain the plat integrity or the plat base pricing, so that they can continue heading that in an upward trend. So when you're looking at new construction, please do not go into this with a perception that you're going to be able to really get a hard bargain on price, because you're going to get a better opportunity for credits and whatnot than you will on price. So just keep that in mind. And that doesn't matter if it's King, Pierce, or Snohomish County. So that is a pretty much straight across the board builder perception. All right. If you have any questions, now again is the time to go ahead and pop those in, or pop them in afterwards. Definitely hit the like button. Next week, we're going to talk about inspection pitfalls. So make sure that you come on and take a look at that. Feel free to let your friends and family members know. We're going to discuss really the top 10 inspection traps that you really need to avoid as you're looking for a home. And it's not uncommon. Our goal is to pull the emotion out of purchasing a house as we're walking around and pointing out certain things. All right, and we will go over the top 10 that we have seen over the last 26 years that tend to be the most relevant or the most common mistakes made. So if you have any other questions, do give us a call. If you're interested in off-market homes, let us know. Just put it into the chat box, do a simple request. If you would like a copy of the home buyer notebook or the press release, again, just let us know, and like the channel, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.